Welcome to Exploring Anime with Friends, a JoeMama for Real podcast on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. I'm your host, JoeMama.
And today's friend is my wife and co-host, Sarah. How's it going today, Sarah?
Hi, everyone. It's going good.
Excellent, excellent. Are you all excited for today's episode?
I'm always excited for the episodes.
All right, in this episode, we'll be exploring the world of A Journey Through Another World, raising kids while adventuring, an isekai humorous fantasy with themes of raising children. Released in July of 2024. For the next 20 to 25 minutes, we will explore the first season of A Journey Through Another World, raising kids while adventuring. First, we will learn about Takumi and the circumstances that find him in another world. Next, we will meet Alan and Elena and the many familiars that Takumi is blessed with along the way. Afterwards, we will dive into some of the other characters that the White Wings help and interact with along the way. Finally, we will explore some of the amazing feats of the White Wing Adventuring Party. And remember, if you like what you hear today, follow us on social media, linked in the show notes. Takumi, or Taku, or Mr. Taku. Talk to us about Takumi, Sarah.
So Takumi's a pretty cool dude. Somehow, a god from another world killed him in our world. It's not really explained, but that god was very, very, very sorry.
He was doing something with the space-time continuum or something, like, he's like, it's time-space stuff, and talk to us a little about this guy, Syl.
I mean, Syl's humorous, because when I think of a deity of any kind, I'm thinking of someone who's strong and courageous and, I don't know, just amazing and awesome. And Syl is literally crying because he's so sad that he accidentally killed Takumi. And I'm like, wow, this guy's very compassionate. That's good too. That's good quality for a deity.
Yeah, so what he does is he resurrects, or reincarnates, or whatever you want to call it, Takumi into his world. And talk to us a little about some of the bonuses he gave Takumi.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so most, waking up in another world, you're starting at, level 1. That's where you start. That's just how it is in most of these animes. In this one, though, he has knowledge of the world, he has weapons, he has magic, he has skills. He's started off very, very well and, has a handle on everything. He's not wandering around well, how do I do this? He knows how. He just knows how.
Yeah, dropped off in an A-rank forest with, at least bare minimum B-rank wind magic at that point in time.
Yeah, decent stuff.
But more than likely, much higher. We really don't know his full rank. We know the rank by the end of the first season. He is officially considered an A-rank, and he doesn't grow too much in power. His party just grows in size before then. The process of promoting him to an A rank, there was someone who was a little upset that he was hiding behind the guise of a D rank for too long. So he had him auto-promote it into an A rank.
So as he's, doing all this stuff, he joins a guild, and the guild is the one that's giving him the rank, and he's just doing these little D rank missions, and the guild leader's just no, you're way better than this, and just promotes him.
Yeah, and that came off the recommendation of characters that we'll be talking about in a few minutes. But finally, a little bit about Takumi's personality as a whole before we go too much further into his party.
I mean, he's a very kind, compassionate dude.
He kind of understands what's going on, but he kind of doesn't care to an extent.
He just wants to be.
Yeah,
wants to be.
He wants to live his normal life. He wants to live without drawing too much attention to himself. And he doesn't realize that some of the things he's doing are drawing more attention to him. But he wants to live a life that's easier for him, that has some of the, nice stuff that his life back in Japan had, but at the same time is trying to stay under the radar, which we quickly find out is very impossible for him to do in this world. Because in order to have nice things, you kind of have to be known.
Yeah.
And he likes nice things. In his first encounter, within the first 5 minutes, as he's going through this A-ranked forest right at the beginning, he runs into two very special people.
They're children, just wearing burlap sacks almost, nothing grand at all. They look kind of a little dirty, a little worn, and he's just where did these little kids come from? There's kids should not be here. So the kind guy that he is, he opens up his inventory, and just so you know, whenever he opens up his inventory, in the very first spot is always an eggplant.
Yeah, and there's peaches, and there's
Yeah.
like every emoji that you would send for one reason or another.
Yeah.
Like, it just doesn't. And as a whole, it's a very clean.
It is. As a whole, it is very clean anime.
But there is definitely a little side stuff put in there for the adults that are watching it.
Yeah. So he looks through his inventory, and what do you know? Shucks, he has clothing for children in his inventory.
Oh, who would have put that in there, Syl?
Yeah, Syl. So he gives them clothes, and they're very quiet, and you can tell just by the way they look. They look like twins. They have the same hair color. Like they're twins. It's a boy and a girl. So he gives them food. And he's like, okay, I guess you guys are just going to travel with me, but you need names, because he can, like, view their stats and stuff. And he's like, okay, we'll call you Alan and you Elena.
And immediately they take to him, like, not so much to where they're talking or giggling or laughing, but immediately following him around, immediately helping. And it turns out that these kids are freakishly powerful
Very
already
powerful.
at this point in time.
Very strong.
Their perception skills off the charts, their martial arts skills off the charts, and Takumi's kind of like, I wonder who's protecting who.
Yeah.
So realistically, like, I feel he downplays himself a little because he's just as freakishly powerful, if not more so. Like, we really don't know. And it turns out, as we're going through the series, that it's kind of spoiled. Should we give the spoil? Yeah, no.
Yeah.
They're the children of the water god. Syl is the wind god, and they're the children of the water god. And Syl kind of knew that they needed someone to look after them, so he basically put Takumi in their path, and it's all revealed that this is Syl's grand scheme to try to help these kids out, and to try to help Takumi out. And together, the three of them form an adventuring party when they make it to the guild together. Talk to us a little bit about their adventuring party.
Well, he wanted to name them something to kind of go with the kids, and they're very, like, pure and innocent, even though they kick butt. So he decided to call the guild, or the adventuring party, White Wings, to be, like, angelic. So at first, it's just him and the two kids.
Yeah. And then they start exploring dungeons and doing things throughout the world, and they have 4 more familiars. Talk to us about Takumi's familiars.
So I actually love them. They're cute. There's a Fenrir, there's a white tiger, and an eagle or hawk.
Thunderhawk. It's a Thunderhawk.
There we go. And also a lion eventually joins them.
A giant fiery lion.
Giant fiery lion. The cool thing about them is they can all, like, shrink down. And so for, like, the wolf, he shrinks down, like, puppy size. The tiger shrinks down to, like, puppy size, too. But the lion is huge and just shrinks down to, like, normal lion size.
Yeah. And Bolt the hawk just stays the same size the whole time.
Yeah.
The lion's name is Vector. The tiger's name is Feet. And the Fenrir's name is Jewel. And really, that's kind of, they're all very, you can tell that they're all really young, except for maybe Bolt, who has a little bit of a sagely tone to his voice. But besides that, you can tell all the other ones are young. The lion is super playful, and they all try to be helpful in many different ways. Eventually, they all gain telepathy so they can communicate with Alan, Elena, and Taku, or Mr. Taku, as everyone calls him. Like, I know his full name's Takumi, but the kids call him Taku.
Kids call him Taku. His name's Taku.
And together, they make the adventuring party the White Wings. They're really kind of a cute and adorable group, but they are a very powerful group.
Very powerful.
That is capable of performing A-ranked missions with ease. Like, to be completely honest, it's not, we don't see them struggle at any given point in time during the course of the whole series.
No, not really at all.
So if you like what you're hearing today, we recommend that you watch us for yourself on Crunchyroll, home to over 1,000 anime and simulcast, both subbed and dubbed. That will be linked in the show notes, along with our social media. So let's talk about some of the other fun characters that we meet along the way. And we'll start right at the beginning. As they're coming in from the forest with for the first time, as they're going into the first city, they meet Sir Vault. Talk to us about Sir Vault.
I mean, so Sir Vault's a pretty nice guy. He really is. But he does have his flaws. He does help them, like, point the way to the guild and kind of get them involved in that. But he's kind of careless sometimes, and he'll be talking with Takumi and give him, like, a strong, like, pat on the arm. And the kids don't like that because they think they're, like, hurting Taku. So at first, the kids don't like him, and he's, like, upset because he's like, why don't they like me?
Yeah, no, it's one of those things where there's he does help them out a lot. He gets them out of some rough situations on a few occasions, and he is very kind and helpful, but at the same time, he does some stupid stuff. Like he almost disturbed a very rare herb in the woods by rushing in to grab it, and all too many times he does something that just makes the kids go, eh.
Yeah, they're like glaring at him.
So it's kind of funny, and he's very well bookended by Sir Reisner. Talk to us about Sir Reisner, his second in command.
I mean, Sir Reisner's a little more serious, a little more toned.
Yeah, a lot more toned, unless he's dealing with someone else who we're talking about much later on.
That's fair. He's like they're not complete opposites, but he's kind of like the yin to Sir Vol's yang. They complement each other well.
Oh, and this is Sir Isaac Reisner. Yeah, because I just kind of realized that we're talking about two different Sir Eisners at different points in time during this. Yes, we'll meet his older brother later on. Yeah, no, so they kind of get him situated in the town, and in addition to help from Luna, the receptionist at the guild, who is definitely a material girl who swoons all the time whenever Takumi brings her in cool stuff to buy and whatnot. He quickly becomes a favorite of hers because he has all these rare things to sell that she doesn't get to see every single day.
Yep.
But yeah, so, and
a fan.
that kind of... as they're going through the town, they make friends with various different people through the town. They find a pastry shop that they get really well connected with, and a clothing shop, and that just kind of leads them more or less through the whole first area. So eventually they realize, after they do a fair amount of quests in that area, and Takumi gets promoted to A rank and the kids get promoted to D rank, eventually they realize that, Takumi's like, I want to see some of the world.
Yeah.
And I want the kids to be able to see some of the world. They've never seen the seaside before.
Yeah, they've never seen the ocean.
So they leave this area and they start to go on a journey. And eventually they get to the seaside, and right as they get there, they run into a mermaid.
Ooh.
The mermaid's name is Melina. Talk to us a little about the mermaid and what she is, trying to get Takumi to do for them.
So, she's a mermaid. So basically, she was told that if Takumi shows up, that she can enlist his help in this quest that all the mermaids would benefit from. He's like, well, you're a mermaid, you're in the water, so I'm on land and I gotta breathe air. And she gives them, one for each, him, Alan, and Elena, basically a bracelet that not only lets them breathe underwater, which is cool enough in my opinion, but doesn't let them get wet. So they can have all the benefits of being underwater without being underwater.
Oh, and all the familiars are able to climb into Takumi's shadow, too, because it's part of shadow magic. And so that's how the familiars travel around with them most of the time.
So they journey down into the depths of the ocean. Alan and Elena are having a blast looking at all the different fish and the crabs and all the different stuff.
Knocking them out to get meat.
Yep, then they get some yummy crab meat. And Melina takes them to where this, giant ship has just... sunk and just landed in front of where, one of their great, coral reefs are. And they need this area because that's what they do. That's what their stuff is. That's any of the medicines they need grow there. And it's just really important to, the entire mermaid village. And Takumi's like, oh, okay, well, I should just be able to put this ship in my inventory. And I was like, son of a gun, what a crazy easy way to just get rid of the problem. Just pop it in your inventory.
Takumi's all about working smarter and not harder.
Yeah.
He doesn't do stuff that just for the sake of making it more heroic or adventurous. It's like, okay, inventory. Oh, good, that works.
Select. Okay, it's gone now. And, all the mermaids love him because they literally just, reopened the area that had all of, just the way they needed to live life was there, pretty much.
Yeah, and he gets to meet the High Priestess and the Governor Galdo. I think it's Governor. If it's not, then, so be it. And they, in turn, teach them all water magic. So the kids learn their first magic, and Taku gets to add water magic to his wind magic. And as they're done and they're getting ready to leave it, they encounter the retainer of the water god,
bum, bum, bum.
Kaiser, the Leviathan. And really, it's just kind of a cool scene overall. I'll take this one really quick.
Go for it.
But yeah, no, he does a test to see how well the kids are doing with Takumi. And when all is said and done, he decides, yes, you are the right person to raise them. So he gives his blessing, and he continues to send Takumi on his way. And they eventually make it to, well, they encounter someone along the way. Vivienne, she's a vampire that they run into along the way and they help save. But I'm not going to go too much into that.
There's not much we can go to.
I'm just gonna mention her and just say the scene's funny at the very least.
Yes.
And they make it to the next town that's by the seashore, and they run into the older brother of Sir Cedric Reisner. Talk to us about Cedric.
So for a minute there, I thought Cedric was going to be like serious antagonist, because like bro's got white hair, and that's like antagonist vibes. But he's not. I'll spoil that. He's not. He's a what?
Well, he is an antagonist. He's not Takumi's antagonist.
Antagonist.
He's Sir Isaac's antagonist.
I don't know if I'd call it a rivalry of some sorts with him and his brother.
Oh, it seems so much worse than a rivalry. Like, he does what he can to make his brother's day bad.
But, like, not in that, like, he's not necessarily doing it maliciously. Like, if there's a slight backstory where his brother used to do the same thing to him. And he never got the chance to one-up him pretty much, and now he's like, I can one-up him, Yeah,
and we'll get to how he one-up him in a moment, but we have to mention his kids, Theodore and Lattice, because this is the first time that Alan and Elena get to play with kids around their age.
It's great.
Talk to us about that interaction between the four of them.
Oh, it's adorable. So, like, at first, Alan and Elena are shy, because, like, that's the way they are around new people. They're a little shy. And then just eventually it's just like they go off running together and they're playing and they're having a great time and they're just finally being kids.
Yeah, one of the things that I kind of really want to highlight as we're moving into some of the major feats that the White Wings do together, let's really just kind of talk about Takumi and his interaction with these kids, because he teaches them. Throughout the series, you see him actually teaching them math, how to do with currency, how to read and everything. He becomes a mentor, so much so that he gets to be an appointed retainer, so a disciple of the Wind God. And what is he now the disciple of? He is put in charge of knowledge and nurturing. So he's kind of like a demigod in the pantheon right now, the demigod of knowledge and nurturing, because of what he has taught the kids, which I just kind of think is super cool overall. But one of the other things that Takumi really brings into this world is culinary breakthroughs. Talk to us about some of those.
It's wonderful. So he's thinking of like all the food he just can't have because he's not in Japan anymore. And every once in a while he's like, we can make this. We can literally just bake some bread and fill it with cream or
bean paste.
Or red bean paste.
Or tuna.
And just like, I can still have this. And the food in this place must have been boring. No one was creative. No one thought to do that. So when he's showing, like, the baker from the original town, you can make cream bread. The baker's like, huh? And then gives it a try and he's like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Let's do this. Can I buy this recipe off you? Wait, or is that might have been Cedric. Cedric offered to buy several recipes.
Yeah, no, the first, people all the time want to become his apprentice for cooking or buy his recipes. It's kind of amazing. Another one was when he put soy sauce and butter on oysters.
Yeah.
And that just became a major smash hit. What's the one that what's the dessert that he showed to Sir Cedric that started off the sibling rivalry?
So basically he makes Jell-O and uses slime, like when they defeat monsters, they get loot. He uses the loot from the slime, which has no value at all, but it's also not toxic. So he boils it with a flavoring, super chills it because he's got windy, icy kind of magic stuff, and made Jell-O. And everyone loves it. They love it.
And he introduces that world to curry and everything. And all this so much so that the fire god, Salamantle, actually gives his blessing and gives him fire magic and gives him the contracted beast Vector. So, all right, but it's one culinary breakthrough after another to the point where he catches the fire god's attention, which is kind of awesome. Mm-hmm. And another amazing thing that they did between the towns, they discovered something. Talk to us about that.
They found a labyrinth, which is pretty impressive. It was underwater, so it did take a little to get to. They went into the labyrinth. They looked around a bit, had a good old time while there. And
got a lot of cool ingredients too while they were there.
A lot of cool ingredients. And then when they finally get to the next town, once they go to the guild again, it shows up automatically that they found it. You can't even hide it.
Yeah, no, he can't hide it at all because, honestly, the way inventory works and the way that they read everything in this world, everyone basically kind of has some level of digital ESP. Like, I don't even know what to call it. Like,
I don't know, something to do with the guild and
everything you do through the guild is like recorded onto your card as you're doing it. I don't know how it works. It feels more like a plot device than something that they'd actually
Maybe.
explain. But it's just like instantly the receptionist at the next guild is like, "Oh my goodness, you did this, and it's kind of like, what? But yeah, so there's that, and along the way, one of the, I think really the one big thing combat-wise we need to talk about is when they went on the mission with other adventurers and other soldiers in the first area. They met the adventuring team Dragon's Breath that features Rudolph and Siren, and they went along with Sir Isaac and Sir Vault, and they went through like a purging mission to get some of the more dangerous beasts out of the woods that's next to the town. Talk to us a little bit about that.
I mean, there's not too much to explain except, like, towards the end there's this ginormous, like, snake of doom.
Evil Viper.
And, like, you expect it to be hard. They're having a hard time. The kids get knocked around, and Takumi just, like, gets mad.
Yeah, no, and when Takumi gets mad, he attempts to use his advanced wind magic, and he just decimates the forest, chopping down all sorts of trees,
are gone.
digging into the ground, creating a little bit of a valley almost, and the snake just gets diced up every way. And when he brings it back to the material girl at the guild, Luna, she's like, ah!
No, she loves it.
Oh, and there's plenty more that goes on. There are plenty more action scenes that go on. Like, you see some of the missions and everything. And we're not going to tell you how the whole thing ends, because there is a little bit of a twist that leads seamlessly into what is a great breaking spot for the end of the first season and sets up the second season really well. So we're not going to talk too much about that. And there's no major antagonist, but there are minor antagonists along the way that they have to deal with. And I'm going to leave some of those for you guys to discover as you guys watch the anime for yourself. So once again, we took a look at Takumi and found out how he ended up in this other world, and then how he ran into Alan and Elena, and they became the adventuring party, the White Wings, along with their familiars. We met a lot of the other fun characters along the way, including the Reisner brothers and Sir Vault and Lena, and we had some fun going into some of the major feats, including the major culinary feats of Takumi and the White Wings. We hope you had as much fun exploring the world of A Journey Through Another World, raising kids while adventuring, as we did, and consider watching the anime.
So if you like what you heard today, make sure to listen to us on Apple and Spotify. All of our podcasts are there. All of the JMO For Real podcasts are on there. Check us out on social media and interact with us there. It is linked in the show notes. Until next time, this has been Exploring Anime with Friends, a JMO For Real podcast. Let's explore together.